Hello, and thank you for tuning in. You are tuned into Esoteric Guidance, and my name is Nehru. I want to talk about, and I might share this on the other channel as well, but I want to talk about, for a moment, I want to talk about divine unions. Okay, came up here to sit down near the pool, but the two gazebos are occupied. That I normally use, but that's okay, of course. All things are meant, even the little things that are considered little things. But I want to talk about divine unions and what divine source is showing me in regards to what this should look like. I will say probably 90 to 99%, 98% of people are probably in marriages that are just karmic unions and stand no chance of real true success. What do I mean by real true success? First, not money, okay? Not because money is the root of all evil, but because the love of money to the exclusion of everything else, okay? So you don't spend time with your family, man or woman, for money. You miss out on recitals. You miss out on baseball games, football games, basketball games, softball games, whatever. You miss out on these things. That's a karmic parent, by the way. It is. I don't care what the excuse is. That's a karmic parent. Okay. Pay attention to the trends. Okay. But when we talk about divine unions, you hear oracles and empaths. Empaths are energy readers. And I don't even know how I got that on my hand. Some little scar. So you maybe realize, oh wow, I didn't even feel that. Whatever the attack is. Okay. When you turn around and look, it was 2, 3, 4 on the video timer. But the divine unions, again, in scripture, in the Bible, and any other text, what is meant by a marriage is a divine union. When divine speaks about marriages and two becoming one, that is a divine union. They're not speaking about just anybody that you pick, because you will not become one with just anyone that you pick. Okay? There are karmics all around the world who know that. There are individuals who've been murdered because of that. Okay? So when we talk about divine unions, first, we have to look at the energy of yin and yang and a balance. So, here in this plane, on this plane, the 3D plane, okay, 339 on the video timer. That's 3333. You have a masculine energy and you have a feminine energy. And as we all say, we all have both. Okay? And because we all have both, we can function in either. Okay? So what's the purpose of a divine masculine energy and a divine feminine energy? And I say feminine and divine feminine because you have to get to the place of ascension to be a divine masculine or a divine feminine. Okay? So what's the difference? Okay? So a divine masculine could be a man or a woman. Okay? They can be male or female. And they're divine masculine energy. So as a divine masculine, okay, we learned even from the religious book that the masculine energy was charged to keep the ground, to take care of Gaia, to sow into Gaia and to reproduce from Gaia and and I say reproduce as in sustenance, food, an energetic connection. Again, I'm constantly reminded of animals, specifically dogs. Seeing a lot of cats too that walk on Gaia every day. And this is why animals are so in tune with good and bad energy. Okay, have stray dogs walk up to me all the time. Okay, birds. Okay, all sorts of other animal, insects, creatures, spirit guides. Okay, all right. But the divine masculine's focus should be, and again, this could be a male or a female. A divine masculine's job here on the planet, on this realm, is to be a financial source. Okay? They are to till the ground. Okay? And it doesn't matter. Again, you could be a male as I am, married to a woman. I'm not married. I'm celibate and single. But married to a woman, a female. Okay? And they are the divine masculine. Okay? The world would have you believe that the man need to go to work, the man need to get the job, the man need to make the money, the man need to... But in true union fashion, okay, the energy of the individual determines what they should be doing and what their focuses should be, not what's between their legs. Okay? All right? And so a divine masculine energy is what the world calls the breadwinner. Okay? That doesn't mean that the divine feminine gets to be lazy. Okay? That doesn't mean that. Okay? But the way that this works, okay, is the divine feminine energy is the spiritual side. Okay? So, how does this work together? Okay? Many examples I could give. Okay? So, for instance, a divine feminine says, or a divine masculine says, I have this business idea, and they share it with their divine feminine, and then the divine feminine, not that the divine masculine doesn't, okay? Not that the divine masculine doesn't, but the divine masculine is out doing the physical work. The divine feminine's job is the spiritual side of things. That is their main focus. Okay? Again, for the divine masculine, that doesn't mean that they get to ride on the coattails into the pearly gates, if you will. That's not real, but you know what I'm saying. Into the pearly gates, okay? On the coattail of the divine feminine. That's not what that means either, okay? Because a divine feminine or a divine masculine can fall off at any given point in time, and it happens all of the time, okay? All of the time. Have you ever dated someone or married someone, and when you were dating them, they were one way, and then you married them and they turned out to be another? Have you ever? Yeah. Yeah, many of us have experienced that, okay? So any divine masculine or divine feminine can turn karmic at any given point in time, okay? Because we are on our own individual journey, and these soulmates that you meet, okay, along your way, these individuals present an opportunity to you and an opportunity to them, an opportunity to your bloodline and an opportunity to their bloodline. Okay? So, the divine masculine shares this idea of business, and then the divine feminine with their high vibrational energy. So the divine masculine's out there making connections, and they're meeting here and going there and traveling there and meeting with this one and meeting with that one and discussing this contract and discussing that, okay? The divine feminine is getting the guidance for this journey. And again, that doesn't mean the divine masculine isn't. Okay? But the divine feminine's role is the spiritual side. Okay? To ascertain those things pertaining to the divine union journey. So, I don't know if that meeting right there, I don't know about that. Well, you might not want to travel there because of whatever, or this is what I'm seeing, so on and so forth. Okay. Females, okay, and this is another contradiction. Females, okay, generally are more nurturing. This is the reason why you find more feminine energy, more female energy, even in church, okay? Because the female energy, okay, the feminine energy seeks that out. And again, the problem with most males, okay, is that their ego is too big for them to realize that they are divine feminine. If you tell someone that you're a divine feminine and they're a man, they be like, what? I ain't no feminine. Because they have no reference point. They have no idea what you're talking about. Okay? They need to go through ego deaths and that sort of thing, okay, to get to divine status. Okay? So these two energies come together, and I'm getting H2O. Okay, I'm getting water. Okay, 1 hydrogen, 2 oxygen. Okay, you saw that went dim, like you saw that, right? 2 hydrogens, 1 hydrogen, 2 oxygens. Okay, and so when you work together like this, it's symbiotic. I just got that. It's symbiotic. Okay? And I would need to look that word up. I have a general idea. Synchronized, right? I have a general idea of what that word means. I couldn't quote Webster's dictionary on it. Dictionary on it. It was 12:30. 33. And so, what is it? What time actually in Malaysia? Let me check and see. Oh, 12:19. Okay. So, Sagittarian energy. And so, in your life, in your journeys, in your relationships, assess where you are first and who you are. Are you breadwinner energy? And again, I've owned businesses, okay? A male who is a divine feminine, I've owned businesses. Okay, so that's not to say that we can't. Okay, it's saying when you come into union, understanding your place. Okay, and the natural, males and females have very different roles. So this could be confusing to someone who is a male who is a divine feminine, and then a female who is a divine masculine. Okay, who's the mother and who's the father? Well, in the natural, I'm the father. Okay? I am the father. But in the spirit, I am the more nurturing energy. And again, that's not to say that that the female, in my case, a female is not. Okay? It could be the other way around for you, in your case. Okay? That doesn't mean that they're not nurturing. Okay? What it means is that my place in our seed's life and her place in our seed's life, again, there is a balance there. Okay? How misconstrued is society today when it comes to men, women, equality? Okay? Women want to claim that they can do what a man can do. Okay? You can do some things that a man can do, but you can't do everything I can do. I assure you of that. Testosterone is not estrogen, and vice versa. Okay? You can't do all the things that I can do. I assure you of that. Okay? And I can't do all the things that you can do. There's no milk here, and none will ever come out. You know what I'm saying? Okay? So, no. Okay? So, understanding your physical position, okay, and your spiritual position. Okay? And again, you could be a male and you could be the divine masculine. Okay? You could be the female and you could be the divine feminine. You know your journey, your inner, INNERG, you know where that is. Or you should be discovering it. Okay? So these divine unions that Scripture speaks about, canonical texts speak about, these are unions that are not meant to happen 3 and 4 times in your lifetime. Okay? The 2 marriages that I've had so far were very karmic. Okay, again, it was that reminds me, 1603. So I did look up the dates for my dialysis treatments. Okay, I was on dialysis for 4.5 years, for those of you who do not know. That was due to witchcraft from a warlock who turned 68 yesterday. Okay, I posted a video, or a reminder. You can go take a look at that video. It is the most popular video on esoteric guidance. Okay, if you click on videos and click on popular, that is the top video on the channel. If you want to know about that warlock and him taking my wife and all the things that I've dealt with for 50 years because of him. Okay? And so typically, it's rare to have 2 divine unions in one lifetime. That's very rare. Okay? In most cases, we have the opportunity for 1, and that's not even every lifetime. Okay? 1 divine union. Okay? And again, there are soulmates. And again, there's nothing wrong with connecting with a soulmate. Date a soulmate, marry a soulmate. There's nothing wrong with that. But understand the difference between a soulmate and a divine partner. Okay? A divine masculine and a divine feminine. Okay? Your mother or your father could be a soulmate, but hopefully you would never want to marry them. Okay? So when we look at divine unions, and we look at what marriage is today in the world, what can we surmise from all of this? That because of propaganda, you heard the horn, because of propaganda, what a union really is supposed to look like is really discombobulated. Okay? That's why you have femboys. Okay? That's why you have women who are trying to be men. That's why you have men trying to be women. Cross-dressers. This is why. Okay? Because the energy is all just like I don't know. It's all twisted. Okay? Intestines, like it's all twisted up. Okay? So on your journey, I encourage you, before you get into any type of personal relationship with someone, I want you to do an assessment of their energy and your energy. And when I say do an assessment, I don't mean as they speak. I'm not talking about that. Listen to what they say, okay? But more so listen to what they're not saying, okay? And then watch their actions, okay? Constantly saying that they're at work late. Pay attention, okay? Again, not able to make the children's events. Pay attention. Or not willing to forego money in order to. It was 1957. There you go. That's the warlock shit. Okay? Again, foregoing time with their bloodline here in the 3D for earthly means. Okay? Heard a horn. So be sure to do your energetic due diligence, okay, when it comes to divine unions. This flower, there's something about flowers, all right. My favorite flower is the sunflower. It always has been, because it faces the sun. Always has been, since I was a kid, okay? And, but this feather was just up here. It was just the only one up here, okay? Yeah, I think that's it. So I just wanted to drop this in. It was 21 minutes exactly, 777. If you're seeing this, that's definitely, you are in sync. Okay? You might like that group. Also, when it comes to producers and filmmakers and that, Mel Gibson, Clint Eastwood, there are many. You heard the horn? Okay, all right. So there are many, and yeah, there's something to that. Okay? So producers, filmmakers, screenwriter, screenplay writer, whatever, what have you, okay? They are orchestrators. So, thank you so much as always for tuning in. My name is Nehru, and this is Esoteric Guidance. As always, be encouraged.